So this video is going to be a deep dive on Lady Stoneheart. Who is she? What is she? What's her deal? The very short answer is Lady Stoneheart is the resurrected Catelyn Stark. She was thrown into the river after the Red Wedding, one final insult to the traditions of House Tully. Arya Stark has a wolf dream where her direwolf Nymeria finds Lady Catelyn and pulls her from the river. Then Nymeria gets spooked when she hears voices and runs away, and Catelyn is found by the Brotherhood without banners. Thoros of Myr, who is a red priest, he refuses to bring Catelyn back to life. He's like, no, this is not a good idea. Nothing good can come of this. She's too far gone. But Beric Dondarrion, he does give his life in exchange for Catelyn, and she comes back in the form of Lady Stoneheart. She looks like Catelyn. She has the same wound on her neck that Catelyn suffered at the Red Wedding. Because of that, Stoneheart can't really talk. It's just more like grunts and mumbles. It's pretty menacing, actually. Stoneheart takes over the Brotherhood without banners, and their new mission is to avenge the Red Wedding. Anyone named Lannister, Frey, Bolton. It doesn't matter if you had nothing to do with the Red Wedding, you're on Stoneheart's list. Now, word starts to get around of this mysterious hooded woman in the Riverlands leading a band of outlaws. Some call her the Hangwoman, Mother Merciless, or the Silent Sister. Stoneheart gets a reputation. Stoneheart's group stumble across Brienne of Tarth, who is on a mission set by Jaime Lannister to find Sansa Stark to keep Jaime's promise to Lady Catelyn. Brienne is with Podrick and Sir Hyle Hunt. That's their little group. Now, Brienne is understandably gobsmacked when she sees Stoneheart. It's quite a terrifying sight. It's like seeing somebody that you cared for, but in zombie version. It's pretty distressing for Brienne. Now, Stoneheart is not happy that Brienne is on this mission tasked by Jaime Lannister. She thinks Brienne has become a turncloak, that she's gone over to the Lannisters' side, that she's forsaken the oath she gave to Lady Catelyn. It really doesn't help that Brienne is carrying Jaime's sword, Oathkeeper, which was made from Ned Stark's sword that was melted down. It's not a good look. Now, Brienne begs and pleads with Stoneheart, like, you've got to believe me. That's not what Jaime's like. He's being sincere. He's keeping his promise. I'm trying to uphold what he promised to you by finding your daughter. But Stoneheart, she's not buying it. She's like, Jaime Lannister, as in the Lannisters who organised the Red Wedding. They sanctioned it. It wouldn't have happened without them. So Brienne finds herself stuck between a rock and a hard place. You've got Lady Catelyn / Stoneheart on one side, and you've got Jaime on the other. She's made promises to both. What does Brienne do? Who does she go with? The problem for Brienne is that Lady Catelyn does not exist anymore. Stoneheart is not the same as Catelyn. She looks like her, she kind of is her, but she's not her at heart. And Stoneheart gives Brienne an ultimatum to hand over Jaime Lannister. If not, then there's going to be trouble. Not just for Brienne, but for Podrick and Sir Hyle as well. Now, this raises an issue for Brienne because what Stoneheart is asking her to do, that goes against what Lady Catelyn promised Brienne when she made her oath, because they made oaths to each other. Brienne promised to defend and protect Lady Catelyn, and in return, Catelyn said, I'll defend and protect you, you'll always have a place in my home, and I'll never ask you to do something in my name that will bring you dishonour. But that's exactly what Stoneheart is doing. Brienne is torn, like she doesn't know what to do, because at this point, although Brienne is absolutely loyal to Lady Catelyn, she does feel loyalty to Jaime because Jaime saved her life multiple times. She's only able to be on this quest to find Sansa because of Jaime. So Brienne feels a debt to him, and she's trying to balance that with what she's seeing in front of her in the form of Lady Stoneheart. Like, what do you do? It's an impossible choice for Brienne. Things ratchet up, and it gets to the point where Brienne, Podrick and Hyle are all being trussed up on the trees, like rope round the neck, and they kick the blocks out from under them, and it looks like Podrick is gonna die. And in that moment, Brienne finally does something. She screams out a word. Now, we don't know what that word is. Some speculate it is sword. Whatever the truth, Brienne survives, and she winds up in the Riverlands, where she goes to Jaime at Raventree Hall, and she tries to lure him away by saying, I've heard word of Sansa, I think we've got a lead. So something happened where Stoneheart released Brienne. but seemingly is holding Podrick and Sir Hyle hostage, just to make sure Brienne doesn't play any funny games. But I don't think Brienne is going to do exactly as Stoneheart has ordered. I don't think she'll just hand Jaime over. It's funny, Brienne is carrying Oathkeeper the sword, and she's literally trying to be an Oathkeeper, but it's an impossible decision. She's trying to balance them both. Like, she's trying to thread the needle so as to not let down either Lady Catelyn or Jaime. And Brienne has become pretty fond of Podrick, so she does not want anything happening to him. Now, I'm going to wrap this video up by talking about what I think is going to happen next if we ever get the next two books. I am firmly of the belief that there will be a Red Wedding 2.0. There is an upcoming wedding, and it's going to be held at Catelyn's home of Riverrun. It's a Frey and it's a Lannister marrying, two of the houses involved in the original Red Wedding. The fact that it's happening at Riverrun, with Stoneheart not far away, I think she is going to try and get her revenge by flipping the tables and this time committing her own Red Wedding. Now, this is just speculation, but this is what I think is going to happen. Or at least I'd like to think it would happen. I think Arya Stark has another wolf dream when Nymeria stumbles across this scene. And we see through Arya what Stoneheart is doing, the atrocities she is committing, because she's just going after everyone. It's one of those two wrongs don't make a right situation. Yes, I understand the need for vengeance, but the way she's going about it, you're not actually going after the people who caused the first Red Wedding. You're just perpetuating what was done to you onto others who happen to share the right surnames. Now, I think Arya is going to see Stoneheart and be utterly shocked, not only at the physical appearance of Stoneheart, but at what she is doing. Ironically, Arya's nicknames include Cat of the Canals and Mercy. I'd like to see her give mercy to Lady Stoneheart, because I've long been a believer that Stoneheart is in a state of purgatory. She's just suffering, and she never asked to be brought back, she just was. So I think she needs to be put out of her misery. It would feel very poetic if it was Arya to do that. It would just feel right, because one of the things that Arya is learning at the House of Black and White is you can't just go around killing everybody. You can't just be so indiscriminate. Arya is learning the value of life and death at the House of Black and White, and I think she's going to take those lessons and apply it to Stoneheart. Like, you can't be doing what you're doing. You've got to stop. But I don't think Stoneheart will willingly stop, so somebody is going to have to stop her. I think it's Arya. That's my theory anyway. I am fascinated by the character of Stoneheart. She's one of the most intriguing characters in the books, and it's a shame that she was never on Game of Thrones, the TV show. And just lastly, I have a question for you guys. What do you think Brienne should do? Does she try and appease both of them? Or does she pick Catelyn/Stoneheart? Or does she pick Jaime? And even if Brienne does pick a side, is it a true choice? Because she's under duress. She's terrified of something happening to Pod. I don't know. It's a pretty impossible situation for Brienne, and a sad one for Stoneheart.